like turn around to look at like the guy that almost killed them. They wouldn't even turn their head. They wouldn't check the mirrors. They would just continue on. Just, yeah, perfectly normal. The guy going in my...
Oops. Hey guys, I'm Detain here. Oh, that's a 50cc. That's a modded 50cc. It's in good condition too. That guy takes pride in it. It's kind of sad because two strokes is supposed to be like completely illegal in like another year or so, or this year, 2017. They made them illegal to buy and sell about a year or two ago. And so you can still own them, you can still ride them, you just can't, if you own one, you can't sell it. You own it until it breaks. Yeah, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, but they've changed, supposedly they're going to take, like the next step is just to phase them out completely. Like, and I'm not so cool with that because there's a lot of people that own them, like that guy, his is in perfect condition. Oh, hi big puppy. That's crazy, that's someone's house. Someone's house. I always wonder how much a house like that costs, like if it went up on the market. I'm guessing like less than 100 grand US. See, houses like this on the East Coast, actually nice houses on the East Coast cost less than 30 grand, like for a decent house. Like if you're thinking of somewhere to retire, like if you're American, let's make the topic of this video. Okay, let's edit some up. If you're American and you're looking for somewhere to retire, because it's idiotic to retire inside America, considering how much money you have to pay just for like just for the basics of life, like health insurance, you know, like you could retire if you have a bit of savings and you want to retire. You could retire to places like Taiwan, Thailand. I wouldn't do Thailand. A lot of people do retire to Thailand because it's cheap, right? It's cheap, and I guess if you're like an old, it's sad but true, but if you're like an older single guy and you're retired, you retire to Thailand, and then for the rest of your retirement years, for your old age, you can like sleep with young women, because that's the only thing that, when I was in Thailand, I found the price of everything comparable to the price of things in Taiwan. The only thing that I found that was truly cheaper was prostitutes. Not that I partook, but you know, we still knew the prices of things. We asked around, we talked, I learned interesting things. Yeah. These roads are always scary, man, because any time you can't see around these corners, so at any second a car could come around those corners, and you would just be like head on with a car on a corner. Like I could go quickly down this road and be safe in my ability in taking these corners, but I got idiots like that guy who come around corners wide. You see that guy? He was like in my lane and he was going pretty quick speed. But what happens if I wasn't on a scooter just then? What happens if I was driving my car and then that guy came around? How are these people still alive? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Are you telling me that no car ever drives down this road? They obviously do. I can see tire tracks from like trucks. Speaking of which, I remember I was doing this road the other day and I saw an old lady coming down here and she was booking it, and I was like, what? You know, like this is an old lady on a scooter and she came around a corner like, you know, knee down. Not actually, but she had a really aggressive lean angle. And I'm like, if I was driving a car right now, there's no way she could get out of that lane and brake in time. You know, like I could come to a complete stop, sure, but she's still going to smash into me because I'd take up the entire road. When a car comes around one of these corners, you have to come to a complete stop. You can't just fit around them because there's nowhere to go. You'd have to go up on the grass or something, and if you're carrying any speed into a change of direction on grass, you're going to wipe out. And this is the lone orchid blossom tree. Isn't it pretty? I feel like I'm the last samurai. Yeah, these roads are just... I just took my son to school and I'm heading home, And the roads I took to get them to school were completely different from the roads I take to go home. And I mix it up, you know, like, I've learned about, I don't know, between 5 and 7 different ways to take my son to school or to bring him home from school. And then you get antique houses like this is old school Asian homes. The front door is wide open, they got woodwork in there, and old Chinese candle electric light. Yeah, there you go, fucking SUV, see that? A freaking SUV just went down that road. And came out. I do not understand how these people who take these blind corners aggressively are still alive. It's just timing, that's all it is. If you hit one of those blind corners... Okay. And at this point, I'm kind of lost. Where to? Home. Turn left. See how instant that was? That's the one thing about this. I got a new Garmin Zumo. It's instant. Look at all these idiots riding in the dark with their headlights off. It's early morning, it's dark out, it's foggy, and they don't have their headlights on. I've been here 20 years almost, and it still blows my mind that people are dumb enough to ride with their headlights off. We don't even get the option in Canada. On a motorcycle or a scooter in Canada, America, you turn it on, the headlights come on. Here, they have a light switch. My scooter is, believe it or not, like the first scooter in the history of Taiwan that doesn't come with a light switch. I physically cannot turn my lights off. And that's going to be the new norm, obviously, because that's the norm in every first world country. Motorcycles are not supposed to have a light switch. They're supposed to have highs and lows, and I got my highs on right now because I like to blind people just because I'm an asshole. No, because it's safer. You know, and I like to remind all these people that don't have their headlights on how much of a difference headlights makes, like how much more visible I am with them. The guy behind me has his headlights on. Good for him. Sometimes I'll see somebody with their headlights on and I'll compliment them on it, and they'll be like, "Oh, are they on?" And they'll turn them off, and I'll be like, "I literally just said, good for you for being smart enough to have your headlights on." And they're like, "Oh, are they on?" And they turn them off, and I'm like, "Oh, damn." In other words, the only reason they did have them on was by accident, because it was like a leftover from the night before or something. And I'm trying to like compliment them on their intelligence. That's happened more than once. Every time it's just like such a, oh, look at this. Oh man, someone lives in there. The lights are on inside. I was like, oh, look at this, a deserted antique house. But then I noticed the lights are on the inside. They just don't got the money to fix it up, which is odd because I'm pretty sure if you live in an antique home like that, the government like gives you funding to keep it in repair because it's it's like a national treasure or whatever. That truck just rolled back at me. That's kind of scary. Where's this car going? Technically, if we're going straight, they gotta wait for us, guys, because we're going straight. They're turning, we're going straight. We don't have to wait for them. You know, it's one of those intersections where the two roads don't meet up, so they're like offset. And I like doing this road. I like the uphill better than the downhill, for obvious reasons. She's just staring at me, that lady. She was totally considering pulling out, and then it kind of like dawned on her the speed I was doing. I saw it all. Like I saw her look, I saw her think, oh, he's far enough away, I can make it. She started to pull out, and then she did like a double take, and she said, shit, he's flying. So then she didn't pull out, and as I went by her, she like just turned her head to like to follow me, and like she just forgot about trying to pull out and instead just focused on looking at me. I do not know what these signs say. I think the first one says you can't stop here, and then the next one in the pink said you can stop here. It's a big problem in Taiwan, kids getting out of cars for school. Like, it's a huge problem here because you don't have sidewalks, and the roads are so small and cramped that if you got a school somewhere, how do you get hundreds of parents going on this small cramped road and letting their kids off safely at the door when there's no sidewalk? well, they're usually right in front of a school. There generally is a sidewalk, but still, the road is cramped, and you got scooters and cars mixing, and you get a lot of fucking dumbasses on scooters that pull over, let their kids off, and then just kind of swing a U-turn. And there's a friend of mine, well, an ex-friend of mine, guy I haven't talked to in years, but he's still here, and he used to be a friend. He volunteered to go to the schools and be like those people that we saw standing there, like kind of like a crossing guard, but right in front of the school. And what he did was, he wouldn't let parents drop their kids off in front of the school, and they're not allowed to. There's a red line. It's like no stopping. Don't drop off here. And at every school, everyone just ignores that, and they just drop them off there because it's more convenient to drop your kid off directly in front of the school. But it's just because everyone tries to do it, it becomes congested, and then you have accidents and whatnot. So what they prefer is you just drop them off like a block away in any direction and let them walk that last little bit. You know, find somewhere safe further away where you can pull over safely without everyone trying to do it at the same time and let your kids off. So what he did was he volunteered at his school, and then he wouldn't let parents stop and let their kids off. Like if a car stopped and they're like, "Oh, I'm just letting the kid off," he would literally put his hand on their car door and shut it on the kid and be like, "No, this is not a drop-off area. You cannot drop them off here. You know, just go further down the block and let them walk back." And he was militant about it, and he just enforced. But you know, and that's the rule that's already in place. He's just the only person enforcing it. And his school got an award for like the safest drop-off area or whatever, like of the year, because it was like the only school that didn't have any crashes or accidents in front of the school. And then there was literally, I like that word. There was one day when he didn't go to school because whatever reason, he had something, so he didn't go that day, and the crossing guards that were there didn't enforce the rule, so people noticed that the big white guy wasn't there, so they were just dropping their kids off directly in front of the school, and a child got killed. There was a lady, she had 2 kids. One kid was old enough to go to school, one kid was too small to go to school. She let the older kid off, and then she was like making a U-turn or something to like exit the school, and there was a car coming through, and it took her out, or it hit the scooter, and the child pretty much died on impact because his helmet flew off before he hit the ground, so his head hit the pavement, dead. So yeah, and like it was like the one day that he didn't go, and then there's a death of a small child, which is just insane to me. And then yeah, so like usual, I think the beginning of this video was a totally different topic. Oh yeah, I was talking about retiring. Yeah, okay, I'll go back to the topic for like a half second. So if you're American, you have savings, you could move here, move to the East Coast, which is all just like gorgeous tropical island, sandy beaches, warm all year round, beautiful scenery, cheap food, and you could buy a home, an actual nice home for like 30 grand US, and then own it for the rest of your life and own the land. Like 30 grand for a nice home next to a tropical beach, surrounded by nice restaurants, and you know, they got all the conveniences of the Western world. And then you'd have free medical, well actually, I don't know how if you were retiring to here, I'm not sure how you would go about getting a visa and a medical card and all that. But even if you had no medical insurance whatsoever, and you had to pay cash in hand, paying cash for medical here would still be cheaper than paying for your deductible or your copay or your excess on your medical insurance in America. So let's repeat that. Even if you had like full insurance in America, you know, you still got to pay something. You still got to pay like 10% of the cost or 5% or something like that. You could get like a whole surgery done here for less than the 10% that you would pay in America. That guy's cruising. Took that corner. He was making a U-turn while I was approaching, and he did that like rather well. I was like, for that size of a scooter, it was a good U-turn. cruising. Look at him, taking the corners. I've definitely lost. Oh, jeez. That was not smart. Just when I start to accelerate to like keep up with him, I get a lady pulling in front of me. I'm not gonna catch up. You really? Fucking stupid. Use your light, bitch. I don't know what he's doing. I thought he was turning left. I thought for sure he was turning left. So I'm like, use your signal light. And he's still just continuing along straight. He's just doing 2 kilometers an hour. Okay. What's going on here? GPS is telling me to do a square. That's just weird. I'm just exploring at this point. I like it. Oh, is this going to be a dead end? Yeah, see, when you get a gate like this, they put gates at the beginning of communities. And then what the norm is it'll be a dead end. Oh, no, it's not anymore. Well, I think, yeah. Anyways. Okay. One of the reasons I made this video was just to see how long my battery would last. Because I made a video yesterday and it lasted like 12 minutes and the battery cut out. And I'm like, oh, maybe the battery is like dying. Maybe I need to, like an altogether new one. Because I wasn't sure if I just forgot to charge it or if it was dying. And evidently I forgot to charge it because I'm still recording. Even though I'm not talking about anything of interest. But I'll tell you something, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In some ways, I'm still the best motovlogger, and a lot of people are going to scoff at that. And I don't blame you, because I'm obviously not the best motovlogger. I'm just saying, in some ways, I still am, in the sense that, like, when you see it, like a 10-minute video from most other motovloggers, they recorded like 3 hours worth of video footage to get 10 minutes worth of interesting content. They had to like cut the shit out of that video. Like, you know, you get videos where people are like just talking away in their videos, and they still have to edit out 90% of it, because 90% of what they say isn't worth hearing. So it's like, and then I got videos where it's like a 20-minute long video, and I go home and I actually sit down and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna edit out the boring bits or the non-interesting bits or whatnot, and there's like, I can't find anything, like the 20 minutes of me talking non-stop, there's nothing to edit out. This video is not gonna fall into that category. There's definitely bits in this video where I'm just like hoeing and humming and not talking about anything of interest. Oh, it says go right. What the fuck? Doesn't make sense. I can't go right. Evidently I was supposed to turn right at the earlier one. That's okay. Am I going the wrong direction entirely? I think I am. Oh, that's the name of that place is PEWC. Puke. The name of the company is Puke. Hey, fuel level is low. I type into my GPS like when I should get gas, and it knows. And then it'll warn me when I start to get low. I have to go through the hassle of letting it know every time I refuel. Like whenever I fill up my tank, I just gotta click just to read it filled up my tank. And then the GPS will keep track of how far I've gone, and when my fuel starts to get a bit low, it'll tell me. And then the symbol will appear in the corner, and it'll stay there. And what the symbol does is, whenever I want to, I can just click on, and it'll tell me where the nearest gas station is. So yeah, I think I explained that well enough the first time. My OCD is like literally like fighting me. It's just like, it's telling me, say it again, explain it one more time. There might be someone who didn't understand the first time. You can't just explain something once and leave it at that. And if you're a friend of mine in real life, it's an annoying trait of mine to deal with, because if you're like an intelligent person that's a friend of mine, anytime I say something to you, I'll say it twice. And then my friends get annoyed by it. They're like, they usually cut me off when I start to explain it the second time, and they're like, yeah, I understood you the first time. And I'm like, I know you did, but I have to say it twice. I don't say everything twice. Just the things that I'm trying to explain. Just the things I'm trying to explain. No. Yeah, no, just if I'm see, I have to do. If I'm explaining something in detail, like a situation or a theory or something that's a little bit more complicated than not complicated at all, then I need to say it twice. If I'm just telling you like what time it is, then obviously I just need to say that once. And I don't think I've always had this habit. I think it's something I picked up from being a teacher, because I was a teacher. Well, I still am a teacher. I've been a teacher off and on for the last 18 years or so. So, yeah, there was a 12-year period where I was teaching full time, and in that period, yeah, you always explain something more than once. You explain it once, quickly for the quick kids, and that kind of gives like an outline of what you're going to explain for the dumb kids, and then you dumb it down a few notches and say it again, so the dumb kids who didn't get it the first time get it the second time because you've dumbed it down. And see, and yet again, I'm fighting the urge to say all that again to you. Okay. So yeah. Americans retiring and M13's OCD. And this is the area that I live in. It's outside the city of Zhengli, and there's a Costco like 2 minutes behind me, which I love. I love having a Costco like practically walking distance from my house. I can just, oh, what's that? We're out of milk? Oh, let's go to Costco, grab 1 carton of milk and leave. And everyone else has got these carts full of all this stuff. And yeah. Okay, end of video. JD, sometimes when I'm doing my tours for 10 days, I don't masturbate for 10 days. And then when I get back home, I look like that. What? The tour, when I go for 10 days, when I ride my motorcycle.